So the Game of the Year nominees are now out, and we can see there's definitely a good stack of amazing games out right now, and it's never been a better time to be a gamer. With a healthy mix of genres and game types, this year may be harder than ever to make a solid prediction as for the Game of the Year winner. With that, I do want to dive into all of my thoughts on each nominee and why they might be deserving of the Game of the Year award. This video is in partnership with BenQ, who's actually giving away one of their gaming projectors, so keep an eye out for that. Most of today's games I've actually played myself with an exception of a few, and all of these are going to be played at 4K on the X3100i. I will have that link down below to their giveaway, and I do want to talk more about this projector in this video, but today I'm going to start with a game I found personally surprising, which is Astrobot. To start, simply, I wasn't expecting to enjoy this game, since the last platformer I really enjoyed was Crash Bandicoot back in the 90s and 2000s. As a Sony exclusive, this is one of those games that I personally didn't have much hype for, but it was definitely a pleasant surprise. With actual unique level design, there's a special charm to each and every level you play, making you wonder what sort of quirk each level will have. The DualSense features as well make this particularly enjoyable, with an incredible in-hand experience, allowing you to not only enjoy the stunning visuals of this game, but an actual tangible feel in hand. With hidden Easter eggs or even special Sony exclusive character levels, this game has many people grinning or even chuckling from level to level. Not to mention, as a platformer, it handles incredibly well and it's simply so playable. Astrobot does come in with a Metascore of 94, putting it close to the top of this year's rating. Next on the list is Black Myth Wukong, which what could be some of the best visuals in any game of the year. As an open world ARPG, this game allows us to progress chapter by chapter as a monkey based off the Sung Wukong novel, making this an incredibly popular game in the Asian regions. With a rooted theme stemming from Chinese mythology, it offers a fresh way to explore folklore and the world itself. I personally love the fact that Goku from Dragon Ball with his tail and Daibo is based off of a similar mythology, so count me in as an automatic fanboy. Combat in Wukong is both awesome yet challenging, and the boss fights do offer an incredible cinematic experience. The open world is simply beautiful, which harps back to the stunning visuals, making this a worthy Game of the Year contender. Although it does have the lowest Metascore on this list with an 81, Black Myth Wukong makes up for its score with incredible visuals and gameplay. Now, coming in next with its addictive replayability, it's hard not to have Balatro on this list, mainly since A, it's a nominee, and I actually found it a pretty good time even though I don't even know how to play poker. While visually different than all the other games on this list, that is also a part of its charm. While ingeniously integrating poker with a roguelike deck building system, it does offer a dope level engagement that's hard to put down once you get started. The arcade-like aesthetic allows you to take a step back and enjoy a more strategic gaming experience without getting smacked around in a boss like you normally would, and finding some new combinations with your deck of cards is simply one of those things you love to see. Visually speaking, Balatro has a retro vibe to it with its CRT TV look and feel, and this is one of those games that's still easy to pick up without ever having tried poker in the past. With a Metascore of 90, it's easy to see why this is a Game of the Year nominee. Now, jumping into what could be my favorite of the entire year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second of the new Final Fantasy VII trilogy games, and this has already won previous awards such as the most awaited Game of the Year, which naturally makes its way onto this list. With a Metascore of 93, this game is graphically incredible with some of the most beautiful open world and dynamic combat, which makes this a well-rounded RPG. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth effortlessly blends nostalgia and innovation for both in-game elements, character progressions and development, and all-around engaging gameplay. Visually speaking as well, this got even better with the release of the PlayStation Pro if you are on console, which apparently has this game as one of the largest Pro enhanced titles to go in hand with its beautiful open world. Easily a must-play for anybody new to Final Fantasy games like myself, as well as seasoned Final Fantasy players looking to relive a Rebirth version of the original. Now, one of the most controversial selections for this year's nominee list is actually a DLC. While Elden Ring: The Shadow of the Erd Tree comes in as a DLC, it might as well be a game in and out of its own, and does also have the highest Metascore at 95. While this is one of the few specific titles I haven't yet had a chance to play myself personally, due to my inability to defeat even the most simple bosses in the main game, taking a look into this one a little bit further seems to showcase it as a deep fan favorite. If you've played Erd Tree so far, let me know what you guys think about this one because I'm looking forward to getting to it. Expanding on the base Elden Ring game, without any spoilers, the DLC is acting almost as a second game entirely, allowing players to jump into another massive open world to consistently lose to another 40 or so bosses. Introducing new mechanics, armor, and weapons, for anybody who enjoyed Elden Ring, this is going to be an incredible addition to 2022's Game of the Year winner. From a visual standpoint, Elden Ring expands on the grittiness of the first game and still manages to give you an awesome open world. This game easily sets the bar for what a DLC could look like and is an absolute love letter to Elden Ring players, making it a controversial controversial yet easy contender for Game or DLC of the Year. With that, talking about the next game, Metaphor Refantazio, this could be one of the best narratives of the entire year. It's hard not to see why this is the nominee, coming in tied with Astrobot in terms of Metascore at 94. Metaphor is a JRPG with a story brimmed with character development, beliefs, political strife, and an incredible amount of world building. Pulling from some of the best turn-based games of the last 2 decades, alongside a mix of real-time combat, this is simply one of those games that can be both addicting and frustrating if you're myself. If you enjoy managing your heroes, kitting out your allies, and even leading into a calendar system, this game will legitimately keep you engaged from start to finish. And sure, while turn-based combat might not be for everybody, there's enough here that actually makes this an incredible package overall. With a unique art style and anime-esque visuals, it's definitely set apart from the rest of this list. Now, before I name my prediction, I do want to talk about some honorable mentions that didn't make it as the Game of the Year nominees. My first game I do want to talk about brings out the inner child in me, which is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. As a longtime Dragon Ball Budokai fan, Sparking Zero takes me way back to when my biggest worry was just picking which character I wanted to play. Between the absolutely massive roster in-game and familiar yet refreshing combat, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero would definitely be my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention has got to be Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and no, I'm not talking about the cesspool of Warzone multiplayer or zombies, but the actual campaign. I literally can't remember the last time Call of Duty had an actually decent campaign, and this one is by far the best one in the last decade. There's a solid uniqueness to the certain levels, and the way you can actually earn and spend in-game currencies to make a huge difference on how you personally want to approach your missions. This is definitely a good breath of fresh air when it comes down to Call of Duty campaigns. This is also one of the few games on this list I'm happy to flex the 120Hz mode on this projector, so definitely a worthwhile play. Now, if I were to make my own personal prediction, while not my favorite game on this list so far, if we're coming off the incredible turn-based Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year last year, Metaphor Refantazio is definitely my current prediction. Between the gameplay, visuals, and incredible narrative, Refantazio embodies what a good game can be. Again, it's never been a better time to be a gamer, especially with this year's nominees. If you do want a chance to win a BenQ gaming projector, be sure to check out the link down below. And also let me know what you think the Game of the Year will be this year, as well as any other games you think were snubbed from this list. I appreciate you guys watching till the end. Till next time.